In the United States, sexual assault is far more likely to happen on college campuses than non-college campuses.
It remains a toxic and dangerous mix on plenty of college campuses across America. Downtime away from the books, social media gatherings galore, binge drinking, perhaps add recreational drugs to the mix, shake, stir, and then release. And it can lead to another frightening statistic. Every 21 hours, there is another rape on an American college campus, and 90% of all campus rapes occur under the influence of alcohol. Now, several states are taking this issue to the forefront with a controversial decision, one that might indeed backfire badly. She's one of the people I welcome on this program because there is no doubt she speaks her mind and doesn't kowtow to the cover-up frauds. Award-winning journalist, host, and content editor at JaneUnchained.com. Jane Velez-Mitchell joins us. Jane, pleasure to have you on the show again.
Great to be here, Ed.
This is very interesting when you look at it. Legislatures in Florida, Indiana, Montana, Nevada, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming all have bills pending that would reverse policies of governments that forbid or restrict possessing guns on campus. They want to now allow people to carry handguns. Is this a good idea on campus?
It's a terrible idea. Rape on college campus is a serious problem. Some call it an epidemic. We have to deal with it. But the idea of a bunch of co-eds running around with holsters packing heat, it's a cartoonish idea. It's a Wild West notion, and it really could create more violence on campus. As you mentioned, alcohol's usually involved in these rapes. In most cases, the victim knows the perpetrator. Quite often, it's in a frat house or party setting. Add guns to the mix, that's a prescription for disaster. And just think about it on a practical level, Ed. You have a woman who may start out kissing a guy, and then this perpetrator doesn't want to take no for an answer. What's she going to do? Say, hold on, let's hit pause on this sexual assault. I want to go get my purse and whip out my handgun. It's a nonsensical notion. It is a big problem. We have to deal with campus rape. But arming everybody, it's ludicrous.
Are we just, again, in many ways, just looking past exactly where a lot of the responsibility lies here? Because the universities themselves are the ones that have the drinking problem. A lot of these sororities and fraternities are on campus property. It is not looked at, it is not, in the opinion of many, really regulated and punished enough by the universities themselves. Isn't it their place to start this?
Absolutely. I mean, we need an entire cultural change on campus. First of all, universities have to start taking rape seriously. Obviously, they want to sweep it under the rug because mom and dad hear that there's rapes on campus. They're not going to want to send their daughter there. So there is this hush-hush mentality. That's got to go. Most rapes on campus are not reported, and there's a reason for that. So we have to encourage women who are sexually assaulted to go to the police and prosecute these cases. We also need to change this binge drinking frat house party animal environment on college campuses. I mean, hello, the reason we go to college is to learn, not just to engage in animal house behavior. What's gone on in our country that we've taken the gentle out of gentlemen? We need to sit these students down and say college is serious business. Forget about the parties and forget about the machismo and the one-upmanship and I'm going to prove how much a guy I am by seeing how many women I can bed. Let's hit the books, people. That's what college should be about.
All right, Jane, so then where do we go from all this? Because we've talked about these problems. You and I have just mentioned them here. We've detailed them pretty seriously. There are some people, like myself, quite frankly, who would like to see if there's any sort of a problem on campus. If you have these drunken parties, if you have the people who get out of hand, you ban them. You throw them out. You put them right out on their butt and you get them out of college because sooner or later they're going to have to learn what you just said, that this is not about a place just to sit down and drink yourself stupid for 4 years. All right, we're there. How do we then get somebody to do it? Why is it taking so long for the universities themselves to take that hard edge? Is it just because, uh-oh, look out, they want to make sure they get the money for the students that are there every year? Got to be something going on here, Jane.
Listen, if you take the party out of school, a lot of kids aren't going to want to go to that school. How many kids have said, oh, I'm going to go to that school because it's a big party school. I want to be there. So, of course, it's all follow the money. The universities want to get these students in. And so what happens is they turn a blind eye to this frat house culture. I, as a reporter, have gone up to some of these frat houses after some controversy, some scandal, and the attitude is absolutely unbelievable. It's like, hey, I'm king of the castle. This is a no consequence zone, get the heck out of here. And I'm looking at these young men saying, is this preparing them for life in the real world? No. On top of that, Ed, I got to say, there's just some practical measures. Campus security, campus environment needs to be upgraded. I walked through a Midwestern campus. I was terrified out of my mind after doing a report one night, walking through a dark area into an unsupervised parking lot. I was terrified. I was like, where's the security? Where are the lights? Where's the campus police? We need to make this a campus environment safe for women, safe for men, but especially safe for co-eds walking around at night. I mean, it's ludicrous the way these campuses are designed today.
And not put guns in the hands of teenagers. It just seems to be something absolutely ridiculous. Hey, I only got a couple minutes left. I wanted to get your opinion on this because we always deal in the polls constantly, over and over again. Now, here's one. The Washington Post recently said that Jeb Bush was the Republican frontrunner. Okay, sounds good, but wait a minute. Real Clear Politics has the numbers. Says Bush is polling in just 14% nationwide, 16%, 12% in Iowa. These are really minuscule numbers. Is it right at this point to call Jeb Bush a frontrunner when you're only polling basically 14%?
No, I don't think it is. I think, it's too early to tell what's going to happen. This is a crapshoot right now. And frankly, I think the Bush name carries some weight with it, let's put it politely. So I think he has a heavy burden to bear because he comes from this dynasty, and the dynasty elicits a lot of different reactions from a lot of people across the board. So the idea that Jeb Bush could be considered a frontrunner simply because he has the Bush name is ludicrous. He's not a frontrunner. There is no frontrunner right now.
Well, that's the other point here, because everybody, if it's not Jeb Bush, aren't they pretty much going to give it to Scott Walker at this point, saying that he is now in crisis mode for so many things that he's saying and not saying? Come on, crisis mode in February of 2015? Don't we have to get a little bit real here?
Look, there are so many individuals that I've heard mention, their names bandied about in terms of being the Republican who is going to win the White House. I can't keep track of all the names. Now, on the Democratic side, you keep hearing Hillary, 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 Hillary. It's out of balance. Let's have a few more on the Democratic side and perhaps a few less on the Republican side.
I'd like to see that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and point to that right now. Now all we have to do is find somebody who's willing to challenge the Clinton money machine, and we're all off and running from that point. Reminder once again, everybody, the website is JaneUnchained.com, if you will. Nice enough to join us here as well. Check out what she's doing. Jane Velez-Mitchell, thanks for joining us. Catch up with you real soon.
Great to see you, Ed. All
right, you as well. Stay tuned, because we'll come back and we'll discuss the Middle East and the United States involvement when we continue on MidPoint.